Hi, it's Nick Shell with Family Friendly Daddy Blog. We're going to talk more about the Ghostbusters reboot. Now, here's what I'm seeing. Now, I wrote a blog post and I've made a couple videos that I'm not going to say they're going viral, but they've more than quadrupled my viewership. So that means this is a relevant topic as far as this Ghostbusters reboot, and it appears that many men, such as myself, who grew up with Ghostbusters in the 80s, kind of feel like Sony is saying, forget you, I don't really care if you watch this movie because I want this to be a girl power movie. This is basically Girl Busters. That's the way it's kind of coming across to us. And what happens to us, we become labeled as men who live in our mom's basement. How could we possibly be married? We don't have a life. We just sit behind computers. That's kind of the stereotype that I feel that's happening, that's coming from people defending this movie. When in reality, that's not at all what it's about. I have no problems with women being in movies and being powerful main characters. Obviously, Star Wars, isn't that an obvious reason, I would think. But I think what's happening is, it feels like Sony is segregating the people who actually would want to watch the movie and saying, you don't matter. Men, you don't matter. If you're not all for this movie about 4 female Ghostbusters and a guy who answers the phone who has no brain and he's just an airhead, if you're not for that, then that must mean you have a problem with women. You maybe you're a homophobe. Go on and until you get to the point where now we're Trump supporters. I want to be very clear about some things as far as this goes. I just want to shed some light on the opposite of that stereotype that's being presented about anyone who would be against the movie. I'm not saying I'm against the movie. I'm actually going to see the movie, just not opening weekend. It's in my interest to go see the movie because I'm a blogger and I have a YouTube video series, so I need to go see the movie. It's in my best interest. But with that being said, I'm not telling people not to watch the movie. I'm not saying to boycott it. I'm just saying, let me just tell you a little bit about myself in case you don't know what's going on with me. Obviously, the name of my blog is called Family Friendly Daddy Blog. So I am married. I have kids. I don't live in my mom's basement. In fact, if I were to open this door from the office that I do my work in, what you would find is a son who's supposed to be asleep in his bedroom in there, right? And then I've got a baby and a wife downstairs. It's kind of like nap time right now. And that's why I'm up here doing this. So I'm married. I have kids. I don't live in a basement. I work a normal job. And yet I'm one of these people who just, it's not that I have anything against Sony. It's not that I have anything against the reboot. It's not, sure, I wanted the sequel. I wanted the third one. I wanted, I wanted the original director in it and all that stuff. And I wanted him, that's what I wanted. And even if I couldn't get that, I was okay with it. But it just seems like this is a chick flick and people like me don't matter anymore to this movie. And that's what's interesting about this. We'll all know in a few weeks, once we see how well or not well this movie does, if it bombs or if it doesn't bomb, we'll know if there was something to this. Has Sony taken the original target audience of this movie and said, you don't matter, this is about girl power, and if you're not behind girl power, then you're a loser? Because so far that's how it feels and how it seems. Now, am I offended by any of this? Of course not. Because I'm not the one making a movie. I'm not the one who has millions of dollars that could be lost over this movie bombing in 2 weeks. But it just seems that if men don't matter, then in the movie, then they're not going to matter buying the tickets either. Because they're not going to be buying the tickets. And then we're having enough faith that it's going to be 21-year-old girls going to see this video saying, oh, girl power, yay, they win. So again, I'm not opposed to that. I'm all for it. It's just that it feels like they purposely took any kind of respect or power away from men and just gave it all to women. When really men are the target audience of this movie as far as what's going on. So of course there's going to be backlash. Am I emotional about this? No, I'm just pointing out what I'm observing on this. So feel free to share your thoughts on this. But I just wanted to show you what I really look like. I'm not living in a basement. I am married. I have kids. I have nothing against women. Oh, and please let me point this out. I'm not a Trump supporter. No, I'm not voting for Trump. I'm also not voting for Clinton. I'm a libertarian. I don't care about politics. I'm definitely not a Trump supporter. That's something that's been said about any men who have anything, even hinting that they're against this movie, that we support Trump. I don't support Trump. I don't support Clinton. I'm a libertarian. I don't care about politics as far as one side or the other. So I'm none of those stereotypes. I'm just a guy that I'm telling you why it seems that Sony just doesn't care about guys like me. Whereas on the other hand, Marvel Studios, which I guess is owned by Disney, I think they do a great job of it. They have male, they have female, it's all great, and it works. Women can be powerful, they can be leaders, they can be strong, they can be respected, and so can men. But based on the previews I've seen for the Ghostbusters reboot, it seems like they're wanting to make men just a joke and an airhead, and not much more than just a good-looking guy. So, those are my thoughts on it. I just want to make it clear, I'm not in my mom's basement and I don't support Donald Trump. I'm Nick Shell with Family Friendly Daddy Blog.